This week on Video Game Hub, Amazon's getting into video games. New details on Mario Kart 8, and Uncharted creator finds a new home in the world of Star Wars right now. Alright, let's get this week's show started with our third story of the week, and that is that Amy Hennig has found a new home at Visceral Games working on a Star Wars game. Who's Amy Hennig, you ask? Well, why don't you know that? You should know that already. No, I'm just kidding. She was the person behind Uncharted. She was the creative director at Naughty Dog who brought you Uncharted, which is one of the better story-based games out there. So when it comes to storytelling, she's quite good. So now she's gonna be working on a Star Wars game. There's been a lot of weird stuff going on lately over at Naughty Dog with people leaving, people in high positions leaving. So it's a little weird to see that because they've had The Last of Us, which was a super duper successful game, and they had Uncharted, which is obviously a very successful franchise. They just announced that their fourth one is going to be coming later this year. So it seems a little weird to see people leaving, but either way, we knew that Amy Hennig would land somewhere, wherever she wanted pretty much, because who wouldn't want the person who made Uncharted to come make their game? And it sounds like the Star Wars game she's going to be making is not going to be a direct tie-in game, which means it's not going to be directly linked to the new movies, but it will be part of the new movies, their lore and everything. So that means she'll actually have some creative freedom, so she can kind of tell her own Star Wars tale within the framework of Star Wars overall, of course. She can't just say Luke Skywalker is dead and all this nonsense. I don't know. But it should be pretty good. I have faith in their ability to make a good game. Visceral has made some good games, and she has been involved in some fantastic games. So we might have another good Star Wars game on our hand. Another Knights of the Old Republic game in terms of quality. Fingers crossed. Lately, it seems like whenever I talk about Nintendo, it's something bad, whether it's the Wii U failing to sell or they're making massive losses over the course of a year. It's always bad news, but not today, because our number 2 story this week is some good Nintendo news, and that is that we have tons of new details on Mario Kart 8. The first thing they announced was the courses. It will include 16 classic courses and 16 remix courses. You'll see ones like Rainbow Road, which is generally regarded as one of the hardest courses in the game, Toad's Turnpike, and all kinds of other courses that are going to be in the game. So it's going to have a lot of stuff. There's going to be lots of new items, so there's going to be all kinds of ways for you to smash your friends. There's going to be gravity manipulation, spin turbo, which is racing upside down and on the walls and all that kind of stuff. Really cool stuff. There's going to be lots of characters that you would like to see, such as Bowser's Minions, Metal Mario, Lucario, Shy Guy, all the classics. There's going to be new music. They're going to have different control schemes using either the gamepad or the Pro Controller. You can also use the Wii Wheel, the Wii Remote, and Nunchuck. So it'll be very flexible, so gamers can kind of play it how they want. It definitely looks like it's going to be a strong entry into the Mario Kart franchise when it drops on May 30th for the Wii U. So gamers who've been worried about the fate of Nintendo, will this one game turn it around? Probably not, but it looks like a very good game, and right now that's all the Wii U needs. They just need more good games. It's really simple. People are not going to buy a system without games on it. The more good games Nintendo puts out, the better chance that the Wii U has of succeeding. And as an added bonus, this Mario Kart looks beautiful. They're finally really pushing that Wii U's graphics, which are about Xbox 360, PlayStation 3 level, but with their expertise in art style, they've done a great job of making it look good. So I have very high hopes, and I cannot wait to play this game on May 30th. Alright guys, before we move on to the number 1 story this week, it is time for the t-shirt contest. Last week's winner is Steve Prime, so Steve, congratulations. You'll have a message in your YouTube inbox telling you how to claim your free t-shirt. Now, let's take a look at this week's image. Either leave a comment here on YouTube or over at MakeUseOf in the post, and you will be entered to win. I'll put your names in a randomizer. The name that I pull is the one that gets a free t-shirt. So take one last look at the image because it is time to move on to the number 1 story right now. And here it is, our number 1 story of the week, and that is that Amazon is getting into video games. We've heard rumors and reports about this thing for a while, but it turns out the Amazon Fire TV is actually a real device. I'm holding it in my hands right now as we speak. It is primarily an Apple TV-like device in that it's all about streaming media and all that kind of stuff from your TV, so you can get YouTube and all that kind of, entertainment. But they also had a heavy push towards games at their event. They showed off a special controller for it. They showed off all kinds of stuff as far as games go, even some exclusive games from Amazon Game Studios where they have acquired some other developers out there, such as the team behind the new Killer Instinct. So it looks like Amazon, while they're kind of having video games as the second part of this whole announcement, they are definitely still getting into it. Now, of course, There's no shortage of Android microconsoles on the market with the NVIDIA Shield is kind of one. It's portable, but you can plug it into a TV. There's the Ouya, the Game Stick, the Mad Catz Mojo, and there's probably like 20 other ones that have tried to come out there after the Ouya was so big on Kickstarter. But this one has Amazon behind it, not some upstart company that was crowdfunded. We're talking about Amazon, one of the biggest companies on the internet who has their hands in everything. So if there's any company that can take a little $100 box and make Android games that actually will want to be played by hardcore gamers, I have some faith that Amazon can do it. Now, it's not going to replace your Xbox One, it's not going to replace your PlayStation 4, hell, it's not even going to replace your Xbox 360 or your PlayStation 3. But it is a cheap device that has games on it that can be hooked up to your TV, and it can be played either using the $40 controller, which I'll be honest is not a particularly good controller, or you can actually use the remote, the media remote, to play some games. So it's good to see Amazon jumping in there. I will be very interested to see how this plays out over the next couple years, if the games start becoming more of a major push or if they still remain an afterthought alongside the media stuff. But we'll have to wait and see. Unfortunately, this week's episode of Video Game Hub is officially over, but don't feel too sad because there's plenty of other ways you can get your Make Use Of fix. Started off over here, you're going to find a video of me playing Goat Simulator and looking like a fool while playing Goat Simulator. Goat Simulator is awesome, by the way. I don't know if I mentioned that. Right under me, you're going to find last week's episode of Video Game Hub where we talked about Facebook buying Oculus Rift and plenty of other cool topics. And over here, you're going to find James's video teaching you how to use an Arduino, because that's complicated nonsense that only the most technologically advanced among us can understand. And James is one of them, and he's going to turn you into one of them. And then all the way down at the bottom, you're going to see the link to subscribe. Make sure to click on that so that you never miss another episode of Video Game Hub and all the other video content that we put out here at Make Use Of. And once again, thank you very much for watching. As always, I am Dave LeClaire, and I will see you next week. Games like Toad's Turd Pike,